Okay, I only have one rule in this series, and that's to never use an ingredient more than...
Surprise, I bet you thought you'd seen the last of me.
Hey, this is Kelly Jacques. I'm the head chef and co-owner of IU Bakehouse in New Orleans. And I want to challenge you to use pandan leaves. They impart this like grassy vanilla flavor that's really subtle but really distinct. We use it in our kaya jam to make our kaya buns, which is like a coconut-pandan custard. But the sky's the limit. I can't wait to see what you make.
Welcome back to Key Ingredient, the show where every month a chef or subscriber gives me an ingredient to work with and I turn it into a dessert. Up this month, back to what I was saying before, I can only use an ingredient once and then it is done and I have to retire it. I can't use an ingredient twice. That's not technically what I'm doing here. I did use it as an ingredient in a previous episode, but it wasn't the key ingredient, so I think it's fine. I've only used pandan maybe like 3 times total, and IU Bakehouse does a lot of really great sweet and savory pastries, so I want to make a pastry, but not a cake. So maybe before I can make this work, I have to figure out like what the vibe of this ingredient is. You taste like grass. It's not my favorite flavor in the world, but the need to make it hit even harder is a little stronger now. And I guess I'll do that by deciding like how I want to showcase the flavor, because I want it to like seduce you from like many angles. So I want to make something that would possibly show up on their menu and like some alternate universe that exists like in the back of my mind. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a gateau Basque, which is like kind of like a pastry, but also kind of like a cake. It's like kind of both. I always talk about reading a recipe all the way through before you begin, so remember that I said that because it comes up later on and I look stupid. But I think it's really important to show flaws because that's real, and I value authenticity, so we're gonna look at it. So this Basque dough starts by creaming the butter with the lime-infused sugar and salt, and then I add in some egg whites and then the lemon juice. And right now I'm thinking, this is so weird for a Basque dough. Why did I make it like this? But I kept going. So then I'm gonna sift the dry ingredients, the flour, almond flour, baking powder, baking soda, and a little bit of pandan powder, which I've never used before, and I probably shouldn't have just added it to the dry, but it's fine, sort of. I dug through all of my old recipes and I found a recipe for gateau Basque that I made at a restaurant. So I'm gonna use the recipe for the crust for that, and I'm gonna adapt it. There's something weirdly familiar about the flavor of pandan. It's like you taste it and you're like, this, I feel like I've tasted this somewhere before, but like, why? You see, pandan contains 2-acetyl-1-pyrroline. That's the exact same compound found in movie theater popcorn, fresh bread, and toasted rice. Your limbic system, which is responsible for emotional processing, recognizes the smell, drops your defenses, and immediately floods your brain with feelings of warmth, comfort, and total safety. It completely bypasses your critical thinking, which is a great strategy for a plant wanting to be liked, and also very popular with cult leaders the world over.
Praise cake.
I'm gonna wrap this up really well and then chill the dough, and then once it's fully chilled, I can roll it out and place it in the tart pan. I do feel like this ingredient might ruin my winning streak, perhaps, so I might actually have to do some sort of like binding ritual to make sure that that doesn't happen. I bind you from doing harm, pandan. Harm against my desserts. And harm against my channel. I do struggle with this flavor a little bit. I want to like it more than I do, and I feel like I should. And I try, but every time I try, I'm like, yeah, I just don't love it. In fact, I went to a bar the other day and I tried a cocktail, and I chose it specifically because it had pandan in it. But when I tasted it, I like didn't love it. But having said that, I didn't hate it. It wasn't something that I found disgusting, like a Negroni or an IPA or Mezcal or Campari or Scotch. So the Basque dough turned out to be really soft, way softer than I remember. Okay, well, that didn't work how I wanted, so we're gonna do it like this.
I remember thinking something was off about the recipe when I was putting it together, but I thought maybe I just wrote something down wrong and I would have to go check and make up for it. So I went to go double check the recipe. Wait, are you f***ing kidding me? It turns out I copied a recipe for a soft butter cookie that I served with the gateau Basque, and I had made that instead. So now I have to start all over and remake the Basque dough.
I don't want to redo this. Ugh. Garbage. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not sifting anything.
I remade the dough, which honestly didn't take very long, but having to throw something out and start all over is really frustrating, and I don't like wasting time or ingredients, so in the grand tradition of being me, it was way more of an inconvenience than it actually was for, like, I don't know, anyone else.
I'm ready for this day to be done. So for the filling, I'm going to do, instead of just a standard pastry cream, I'm going to do a coconut-pandan cream. That will go inside the pastry. I'm going to start with some coconut milk. I'm going to replace the dairy in the recipe and use coconut milk, and then I'm going to infuse the pandan flavor into that by adding in some fresh pandan leaves. I'm going to bring that up to a simmer on the stove and then let that steep for a bit off the heat. I'm going to add an additional level of flavor by adding in some pandan paste, which I made by adding some pandan powder with a little bit of water. And this whole process is essentially the same thing as a regular pastry cream, which I've made many times before. I mean, it is. It's just swapping out a few ingredients and adding some paste to it, but it's the same thing. Did I set a timer? I mean, it could be like stronger. We're gonna add more. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I don't want to do that. Just do it. I don't want to. I hate cleaning that blender. It's so annoying.
I decided to take the coconut base and add in some more pandan leaves and then blend that all up, and that's going to release a lot more of that pandan flavor, so it should be really punchy and strong. But having to make more dishes and cleaning is like the last thing I really felt like doing, but you have to make sacrifices for your art if you want it to be great. Once that's fully blended, I can kind of skip steeping it a second time because it's already being very strong. So I'm gonna strain that out, I'm gonna strain the leaves out, and then continue cooking the base. I'll clean that up later. Now I'm gonna strain this through a chinois, and then that will go right into the butter, and then I'll whisk that up and taste it.
Oh, I meant to grab the other one. Whatever. It looks like turtle pie. Do you remember that from like the 90s? It's not quite sweet enough. I'm just gonna be crazy and I'm gonna add in like some muscovado because I feel like it. I don't love that. I kind of loved it before I made that decision, but I'm not remaking that. It's fine. Is it though? That is better though. It's just the color doesn't look like amazing. Well, it is what it is. I can't change it now. That's like so not enough. That's not. There's no way that that's enough. Did I like? I don't know about that. How do I
not have any food, but like all sorts of space.
On top of that, I'm gonna make a mango gel, which is kind of like a mango butter that I'm just going to blend. I might set it with agar and then blend it, which like I've done before like a million times, but I might not have to. Mangoes are a little different. And then I'll cover the entire pastry after it's filled with another layer of the pastry, seal that, and then bake that.
First, I'm going to remove the mango cheeks, which are the fleshy sides surrounding the pit, then score the flesh in a crosshatch pattern without piercing through the skin, and then scoop out the diced cubes.
Because I'm like struggling with it not being a plated dessert, maybe I'll make like a little tiny compote to go on the side as like a edible garnish, something that's not mint.
Now that the mango is diced, I'm going to transfer it to a bowl and toss it with some fresh lime juice, lime zest, a little sugar, and some salt, and then let that macerate in the fridge until I'm ready to use it. I'm repeating the same process with these remaining mangoes, although this time I'm not really concerned about getting a perfect dice since I'm just going to blend them up later on. I'm going to add in some ground ginger and then start cooking everything down on the stove and then infuse it with just a small piece of pandan for some extra aroma and depth.
Oh my god, I totally forgot that I have this. This. Okay, so 1 gram of agar for every 100, right? Yeah, so 3.5. I don't need a pen. I can do it in my head. And you know what? I'm gonna add a little bit of this. Actually, let's taste it first. I guess I should blend it. Let's blend it first before. What am I doing? What am I doing? Where's my immersion blender? Now we can taste it. It's not mango-y enough. So we are gonna use this. Strong this is. It's probably like way too much. Just a little more. Well, just a little more. Well, no, yeah. That's it. I was gonna set this with agar, but like I don't think it needs it. So I'm not going to.
Turn that off. Now that the dough is rolled out and fully chilled, I'm transferring it to the tart pan and then gently pressing it into the shell. But I also have to work really quickly because I don't want it to warm up on me. Even though this dough is the correct dough that I made this time, it's still on the softer side, so I have to be really quick about it. It's also very forgiving, and that makes one of us. I'm going to trim the excess off with a knife for some clean edges, and then I'm going to fill the base with the chilled custard. I'm going to smooth that evenly with an offset spatula, and then once that's fully level, I'm going to layer on the mango gel, and then I'm going to make sure that the layers are really distinct, so I want to make sure that I don't blend them together. Next, I'm going to add the top layer of dough and then seal that using a rolling pin, and that'll keep it really nice and tight and sealed. Then I'm going to score the surface with a fork in the traditional pattern, which is very uncharacteristic for me. Then I'm going to finish with an egg wash, and that'll help with shine and some browning, and then I'm going to throw it into the oven to bake. I diced up some fresh coconut and then folded that into the compote and then set that aside while I prepare the tart. To release the tart, I'm placing the shell over a small glass and then gently warming the sides with a blowtorch where it was kind of sticking a little bit.
And then maybe just to like echo the coconut that's inside, once it's fully baked and cooled, I'll brush the outside with melted butter and then add some toasted coconut flakes on that. So you get like more coconut. Maybe I'll do like, no, that's enough.
After slicing, I'm going to transfer the tart to a plate, then add a spoonful of the mango coconut compote alongside it, and then finish with a touch of fresh lime zest. I should have made like a pandan syrup for the compote and maybe toasted the coconut, but I didn't, so this is what we have.
The layers look great. The color is not like great. But we'll see. The mango is strong. The pandan is not. It's there, but it's not like punchy, but it's still very good, and it's actually like not super rich. I'm actually kind of surprised that it's not, no, it's there. It's actually pretty good. For someone who isn't wild about that flavor, I would eat this. I mean, I am eating it. Not bad for a first go. So we have the crust, and we have the pandan cream, and then we have the mango gel, and then we have more of the dough on top. And the coconut crust. It kind of tastes like a Hostess pie, if it were like pandan. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a like or a comment. All sorts of engagement really does help. And then also, if you want the recipe for this, you can head over to my Substack and then sign up there. But another benefit of subscribing to my Substack is you can enter a drawing to be the next winner to select a key ingredient for the future, for another episode. Which is cool, right? Yeah. So maybe I like it a little more now. I like it. I like it.